khó mới lại đến một ta sẽ eo ta rồi nữa we football pig.
Welcome back to Sports Talks, folks. This is Alex. This is Felix. And we're going to do our week 4 picks of the NFL. Thank you guys for tuning in. And so we got some topics we need to talk about. And so let's do this. So, as you know, Thursday Night Football took place. And the Cowboys beat up on the Giants, although on paper-wise, the Giants was a pretty much the performing team. They did really well on paper, but didn't look so good in the real thing. So.
He beat but so that's the top
Of course, you're an Eagles fan, and of course, obviously, the more the Cowboys are down, the better for you guys in your own division. You know, the thing is now this is like the 15th straight time that the Cowboys have beaten the Giants, and so. My suggestion for the Giants moving forward, you need to build a team that is going to put an end to this streak because, you know, I know before your time, the Cowboys and the Giants always had one of the most entertaining rivals between these two organizations. And it's not there no more. It's very lopsided. And it's been lopsided for some time because the team has been built to deal with its biggest threat in the division, which has always been the Cowboys. Although, yes, the Giants have other rivals in their division, like the Commanders as well as the Eagles. And those games have always, as well, has been very entertaining in the Northeast there. But nothing really rivaled more than the Cowboys and Giants. And it's just sad to see that the organization can't match what has been there for the last 15 times now. And if I know as Giants fans, that's got to be extremely disappointing because you keep wondering, when are you guys going to end this losing streak to this one organization in your division? I mean, it does matter about even if you guys had an all-out winning season, but you lost both games to the Cowboys, it's still not going to be satisfying. The only satisfaction will always be, even if the Giants have an absolute losing season, is that you defeat your mortal enemy, which is the Cowboys. And so, you know, there's other teams that have that same type of rival in their division, like Bears and Packers, which goes way back. One of the oldest rivals that exist. But let's get into what happened on that Monday night game of last week between Chiefs and Falcons. Now, we've seen what happens when the Bengals defensive player made the same exact mistake, and it cost them the game. And again, this is now the third week. Actually, if you go back to last season, this is now the 10th straight game that the officials have consistently helped that organization win games. I got to tell you, and I'm hoping you guys are paying attention, Patrick Mahomes and the rest of your team, your organization. I am never going to give you guys respect because you guys, as professionals, you guys are allowing the cheating to take place. And that's because you guys aren't defeating people outstandingly where you're blowing somebody out, where there's no controversy. You guys are in games with other teams around the league, and you absolutely should have lost some of these games, but didn't because you had officiating that was helping you. And so, to the league, Mr. Commissioner Rydell, you should look into this. This should be something you should want to fix, because you guys built something to make the NFL one of the most entertaining sports in America and around the world. And you guys are trying to expand, but when these kind of things are happening, this is pretty bad. And so it should get nipped in the butt as soon as possible. Even if you guys are so, quote unquote, as fans put it, making a script with it where the Chiefs are winning. But if that's not the case, then it should be looked at. And officials should be strictly punished for making poor decisions. No one's saying It should be absolute perfection because we know that's not there's no such thing as a perfect person. But people will make mistakes, but these mistakes are always in the fourth quarter with the game on the line. It's never in the first or second or third quarter. It's always in the fourth quarter when the game matters the most. And so we would like, as fans, we would like to see this stop, especially with one particular organization. It's not fair. It's not good to the fans. It's definitely not good to the Kansas City fans. And it's definitely not good to the Kansas City players because they're associated with it. And nobody likes that. So let's get into the picks. And what do you got for the 1 o'clock games?
4 o'clock game. The football cup game in the Falcons at the day. What you got for the day?
Falcons and Saints. I'm going to go with the Saints.
I ain't gonna do it. We got it. I believe it. I vote. And we get it going. A cool game. Probably a rebound. Rebound game for the day. Go ahead and don't forget to cut a good call about the shit or the night football. I believe this is going to be cool and really entertaining. I think it's going to be really big on top for the game.
That's a division game, and that should be quite entertaining between those two. Georgia versus Louisiana. So the battle of the South.
We got the bear and ram.
Go ahead.
Give me the bear. Give me the bear. Oh.
Bears and Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the Rams will somehow squeak out a victory here.
Jackson, Houston. The people didn't win. I believe it is the people that get the win. So
Are you absolutely sure? Yes, they need a win. I'm not questioning that. But they're playing against a division rival, against the Texans, who came off a really tough loss, right? They were riding high. Now these guys came off a loss. Now they need to show that they can bounce back. So I don't know. I mean, it's disappointing to see Jacksonville where they're at. Because look, they came out playing really strong, and then suddenly, somewhere along the line, something went wrong somewhere for them, and they took a right turn. So I'm gonna pick the Houston Texans. I think that's safe to pick them. I would love to see the Jaguars get a victory, but I'm gonna go with the Texans.
I pick the Houston over Jacksonville. I don't think that to do. We get the win.
Okay, so let's ask the question: what is broken in Jacksonville? What is your opinion on?
What is broken is the team played all 3 weeks. I can see and not the quarterback. I think it got the defense. The defense cannot hold up.
So is it sorry for interrupting you, is it the back end of the defense, meaning the defensive backs and safeties, or is it the front line not getting enough pressure on quarterbacks and shutting down the run games? Like, what seems to be?
I think it's one game. A team that has a good quarterback will pull out the defense line. You need a good defense line, and who defense line is okay. I don't want who again, but I want to walk in the for who is not again. Thursday night game. It's okay, but it's got to do is the defense. But honestly, yeah, the quarterback thinking about this. A 40 quarterback multi-million guy. I don't think he's a quarterback. I don't think he's that cool, but of course, everything's gonna be off that pizza. Everything's gonna be on the quarterback. Nobody's gonna be off the pizza.
So would you suggest that the fans and ownership need to be patient with Doug Peterson and let him install what he needs to install there to build a franchise? Are you suggesting that they need to be disciplined in a sense, like how the Patriots eventually they built a franchise, right? They built a legendary organization, and they were winning their division every year there. And every once in a while, yes, they had challenges, but it was the football program that was put in place between Belichick and the ownership there and the front office that managed the team. So you suggesting that if the ownership of Jacksonville is serious about winning championships, then they give Doug Peterson the same chance that the Eagles organization gave him to install to build a foundation there. And I mean, because they got good pieces there, they're just missing a couple of things.
Well, again, defense wins game. They got the offense, they got the coaching, it's the defense. Defense wins game. I can't see the defense that I have on that defense.
I would agree with that. That was maybe 15 years ago that defense wins games. I believe defense has finished games because honestly, if you look back at the Super Bowl with the 49ers, what failed them? They were winning. And all they had to do was stop the Chiefs. Now, we know the Chiefs, I know the Chiefs had some help from officiating. But defensively, they didn't hold up to actually finish the game. And that would have put the victory in the 49ers case. But if your defense can't, at the time when it's needed to finish the game, and that means hold another team's offense and get them 4 and out, and you can always test that in the early quarters. If you ain't making a team at least punt once in one of those quarters or several times in a quarter, then you know in the fourth quarter when it matters most, you're going to have trouble as a franchise. If you're a defensive coordinator in the NFL, your team, your defense, those 22 men that is on the field between the offense and defense, if your defensive side, those 11 men, can't get a 4 and out, that's a problem. And I suggest even if you're one of the best teams in the league, you take a look at that. That should be something that every team should be concerned, even if you're going against some of the best. Now, unless you really are a poor team, if your team can't make one team punt at least once throughout that game, those 4 quarters, you got a problem on your hands. And entertainment is important, but it's also strategy to the sport. And you need to show that you can force somebody to punt. If you can't get somebody to punt, that's a problem. So let's move on to our next pick.
Yeah, Broncos. Yeah, at home, Broncos is
So the Broncos are not in Mile High. They're in New York.
And
so let's just say, you know what? I'm going to go with the Jets with this victory. They had a weird Thursday night game against the Patriots, which they became victorious over. But there was all kinds of chaos that happened after the show. So I'll pick the Jets.
Look, Broncos is not home. The Broncos is impact on the massive platform in America. But that is 2 hours behind. So I got them in the
Your mom ain't gonna like that. She's a Broncos fan. So
perfect. That's
The battle of the big cats. Oh boy.
Pivot at home. Bet the world no different of time.
So let me ask you this: is any of them living in Springfield? They might get roasted.
Maybe.
Super roasted.
Give me the bet.
I think the Bengals absolutely need this victory. Not saying the Panthers don't in this situation, but the Bengals need it because something's broken here, and don't know what it is. They played solid football the last 2 games, but just haven't been able to finish, and that's something's going on. Is it the blonde hair? Look, they played fine before he had those the highlights put in his hair. Now suddenly he put the highlights in there. I don't know, seem to be broken. Just kidding, folks. Just kidding.
Good man. Good.
Hot Vikings. Yes, absolutely surprised everybody. So they're 3-0. Is this winning streak temporary, or is this a dynasty we're about to see unfold?
Look. 2 years ago, they are a good team with Cook.
Yep.
Cook is gone. They put it. Well,
from coaching and everything too.
No, they called it 2 years ago. Maybe a couple of quarters. But anyway, before being the rookie quarterback, but he got they got a former draft quarterback. And we were part of the history for him to put that in the because remember he owed about a quarterback. Always he was a bad quarterback.
Was he really a bad quarterback? Or,
No,
or did he
that-
need to? Oh, okay. I was gonna say because maybe the right coaching, offensive coach or quarterback coach can easily turn somebody around. I mean, look, Sam Darnold was drafted, well by the Jets. Unfortunately, he came out, really strong with the organization, but then all the injuries he was rattled with and health issues kind of changed that. Then he went to Carolina and so on. So we kind of know where and why he's landed at this point. But he's hot right now.
He's really hot. We just Caleb Cotton. I believe he's gonna be lucky. Gonna be 4-0 after the week.
All right. So he picks the Vikings over the Packers. I'm gonna agree with him 100%. I think the Vikings will keep their winning streak going over the Packers.
Pittsburgh, Cole at home. Pittsburgh is wrong.
Pittsburgh also has been quite a bit of a surprise this season, and no one's seen that coming. What's been going on there? So they've been on a hot winning streak. You know what? The Colts, I think, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have had some history in the past. Lord knows those two franchises have crossed paths in the past. But I'm going to take a go out on a limb, and I'm going to pick the Colts.
I'm going to pick Pittsburgh.
Okay.
In a last World Cup game, Tampa Bay, Buccaneers, and the Eagles Tampa Bay at home, and for the this is gonna kick. I feel bad for whoever affected the hurricane. Hopefully everybody is safe, and hopefully everybody is okay. Yeah. I know that we're the Tampa Bay team that is what the world is in because they were who because the Hurricane. I got to pick the Eagle to the game.
Well, I hope in your case you did pick the Eagles.
Yeah.
Look, the Eagles and Bucks have had some history in the past. Um, when Warren Sapp was there, oh Lord knows that became a rival between those two organizations, and they were good rivals, very entertaining. And the Eagles always seemed to found a way to extinguish their hopes of getting to a Super Bowl. And then that was with Dungy when he was with the Bucks, and then here came Gruden. He came in there, and they get over their troubles with the Eagles. And something tells me, and again, to go out to all the people in the southeast here who has gotten hit with this hurricane. There's been a lot of damage, not just in Florida, but South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. They were just riddled with in Tennessee actually with the floods, with the damage there with these storms. Hopefully, yes, everybody and their families are safe. Whatever is destroyed, yes, it hurts, it's painful, but most important is that you're still here with us, if God willing. So, but I believe that this will be weighing heavy on the Buccaneers' hearts, and I think the Eagles will take advantage of that by getting the victory over them.
Okay, moving to our 4 o'clock game. Bye. Patriot, folding up, folding up at home. Patriot got to go all the way to home. 3 away. No, 3 can't do it. I want, give me the folding up.
I gotta say, look, I hate when teams are in this situation because the 49ers back is against the wall. Listen, these guys have lost 2 straight now, and it has not been really good football for them in 4 games. So although yes, they won a game, but this is just not look good, and so their football. So Patriots, yeah, they had the loss against the Jets. They had plenty of time to prepare for the 49ers. The 49ers have only one choice, which is to bounce back and try to pull ahead. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna take the Patriots. I think the Patriots will bounce back from this situation and from the Jets and get a victory here against the 49ers while the 49ers are home.
Yeah. What Cardinal at home? What gotta go to the it's tough because what is 3 hours? Well, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours. Can't do this. Give me the other team that hot out now. Give me the Cardinal.
I'm going to take the Cardinals against Washington's newfoundly quarterback who's been playing well magically in this league. He's been playing very, very outstanding. I am impressed with the young man. But you know something, the history between these two teams, and for those who don't have football history, I'm going to tell you, the Cardinals used to be on the East Coast as an organization playing with the Cowboys, the Giants, Washington, the Eagles. And you know who they always used to, besides the Cowboys, they always matched up well against? It's always been Washington. And the fact that Washington is traveling west to play against them, I'm going to say I see the Cardinals keeping that success going, as history once put it.
Okay, now in order to our 4 o'clock game. Tennessee as a top. Let me talk about the high school matchup. This is the first time in a while you see Seahawks ball with an elite Oh boy, this game is gonna be easier and I hope for your team. Of course, at home, Kathy are one again from the field. Kathy, I get it to kick off first.
Well, you're right. This is going to be a hot matchup. This might be game of the week between these two organizations. And this is really a battle for that division. And if the Chargers, Harbaugh, if there's a time now that you need to show that you're going to take charge in that division and bring that team to a Super Bowl, it's going to start this coming weekend against the Chiefs. Because you know what? Andy Reid and them have dominated. Yes, with some help of poor officiating, but has dominated that division. And that's a really good division. And guess what? You guys got a chance to put an end to that streak this Sunday. It'll be interesting to see which one of you really want that division, because this game matters. This is the game. You only get to play them twice. And yes, your other organizations in your division get to play them as well. But you know what? The buck stop with you guys right now. If you want to dominate that division, you need to put an end to that with them. They're coming to your house. Remember that. I'm going to go, believe it or not, Chiefs. No surprise. Because they keep getting help from guys in the zebra stripes over and over and over. So I know that wasn't seen coming, but I'm going to tell you, I believe they're going to find a way in the fourth quarter, as usual, to disappoint San Diego fans. So, I mean, I'm not sorry, LA fans.
Oh boy, you probably open up a can of worms.
I know. I'm sorry, folks, but listen, I'm only going to speak the truth because it's happened. There's plenty of video footage to back up anything I say, whether officiating like it or the NFL likes it. It's a fact. There's no mistake in there, okay? It's a fact. So, you don't like those facts, then stop it. Fix it.
Complain to what go out. Anyway, give me LA. After Kathy will get the win. After LA will get the win. Probably hold the we see the game will be a good game. Hopefully you see it. Hopefully I will put good. Hopefully you be anyway. Hopefully you be anyway. Okay, move on to for a clock game. Goodbye. Hey, go ahead. Well, give me we lot of you to the game. How about
You picking the Raiders to win? This is really hard because you know what? There's history between these teams, but not enough history because they don't cross paths that frequently. And so there's not like there's been these great drama games between the Raiders and the Browns where I could absolutely say leaning towards one or the other. I think the Browns have an identity crisis going on there. They have potential to win. This was a team that was just in the playoffs last year. And although this is all new team, all new season, they got to fix what's happening there. Then you have the Raiders, who were suspect last year. And, now they have a solid head coach. And he's putting together, again, if they're patient, build something there to compete with. But my pick for this team, this game, I'm going to say, you know what? Let's go with the Browns. Let's see what the Browns have.
Okay, and now I got that in game football. We have the Bills and the Ravens. Boy. So it's the Bills make a pick because the more happening, the more happening. So I'll take that guy. I want it hot. how much forever because
Yes.
they're on the ground, not all the way up. So I'm gonna pick up the Buffalo Bills. How much is
I'm gonna say, look, the Ravens, they know that have been close in every game they played so far this season, and they could be 3-0 at this point, but they're not.
they
I'm
want?
gonna go with the Ravens. I think Baltimore needs to tighten things up. Maybe either pick up the pace of the game where your opponents are, or you slow down the pace of the game and you use Big Henry to run these guys over. But one way or another, you need to figure out how to make that happen so that you can close the show and win in the fourth quarter.
And hey, Monday Night Football.
Yes, Monday Night Football. Bum 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 bum.
At the bottom, at the top, I think we got 2 games
Yes,
again.
2 games on Monday night.
The Dolphins at the top, how about you?
Let's do the Titans and Dolphins first because they play first. They start kickoff sooner than the Lions in Seattle. So you know what? I feel really awful again for what happened down in Florida. I feel awful for Miami's circumstances with their quarterback. Um, you know, obviously the Titans are in Tennessee, and Tennessee has a problem going on right now with flooding there and possibly threats of the dam breaking in their state where thousands could lose their lives and not just lose all their possessions. So this is going to be an interesting game Monday night. And with that storm still technically lingering now in the middle of the country, because it didn't go, what usually happens, it hits the coast or up the Gulf, and then it goes out to the Atlantic Ocean, and then it just spans and it's gone. But for some reason, another storm that was coming from the west came in, and it's kind of just twirling over those mid states right now. And so a lot of water is being dropped, and hopefully over the next day or so, the rain and all of that will stop. But for me, I say the Dolphins bounce back in some shape or form. I think this is probably going to maybe be a low scoring game, and maybe they squeak out a win here against the Titans.
I do. Give me a good the top.
Okay, so let's move on to our next teams, which is the Seattle Seahawks with Geno Smith and the Detroit Lions and Goff. So who do you got finishing off week 4 of the NFL? Who do you think is going to win Monday night?
Then because it's fine. Give me Detroit. I can feel that. I can feel Detroit. One in. I only pick you made a pick out of a pick out not no more. So I said go for so give me Detroit.
Now wait, now you know these two teams played each other last year, right?
Yeah.
That was some game last year between these two organizations. And again, not a lot of history. These two teams don't frequently play each other. But that game was very entertaining between Detroit and Seattle. And Seattle made a run for it and basically made some trouble for the Lions. But you know what? I'm going to agree with you. I think the Lions did not forget what happened last time, and I believe the Lions will get this victory Monday night against Seattle and Geno Smith. So next week's the kickoff the week will be the Bucs and Falcons, another division rival. We'll talk about that game next weekend, and I'll tell you who our picks were. We thank you guys for tuning in this week. And sorry for the slight interruptions that occurred doing this trying to film here. But, again, we feel for the families that have suffered from the weather recently over the last couple of days. We pray for you and your loved ones, and we pray that you guys are safe.
Mm-hmm. This was the week 5 of the NFL. This is Bye, y'all.
Okay.